Welcome to the issues of sports. It's been a minute, but hey, we're back. I'm Emac Evan Makovsky with the Rude Dog, Rudy Reyes, and we're talking about Bill Belichick, and he's still the head coach of the New England Patriots, Rude Dog, but the rumors are swirling. There's reports out there. I believe it was Tom Curran who reported that a few weeks ago that the Kraft family made a decision to not bring him back. We don't know what's fact, what's fiction, but certainly whether he comes back next year is there's people on both sides of it. And I just want to lay out kind of what's being debated. First, what's being debated is, did the Patriots have all that success because of Tom Brady or because of Bill Belichick? And there's people in the Brady camp and there's people in the Belichick camp. And this has nothing to do with this upcoming decision, but I want to get to that. But I also want to just a little backstory here. Bill Belichick, before he was the coach of the Patriots, he took the Jets job. I think it was for a day, and he quit. And then he went on to coach the Patriots. Before that, he was the Cleveland Browns head coach, and he got fired from that job. And then you go before that, and he was the defensive coordinator under Bill Parcells with the New York Giants. He had a close relationship with Lawrence Taylor. This is where he really defined himself in the NFL. They won 2 Super Bowls in '86 and in 1990. And Bill Belichick was considered the mastermind behind those defenses. The '86 defense is considered one of the greatest defenses of all time. So he had failures before the Patriots. What I want to say is, I'm sick of, let me just start here with this Brady or Belichick. Why does it have to be one or the other? And my take is, Rude Dog, is, Bill Belichick was known with the Patriots for many years of like making the 47th and the 48th man on the roster a legitimate player. Like he would get, not only his draft picks, but he would get talent and production out of end of the roster players. So he was considered that was part of like his pedigree. But I don't think necessarily now some of the criticism is they're drafting, because he's the GM, they're drafting the last couple of years hasn't been so great. But what if it's just this? Maybe it just, life is cyclical. Just things, what made him such a great coach back then is now, okay, now he's just not as lucky or not hitting on as many players. But does that mean he's lost his touch?
Bill Belichick,
Go ahead.
in all fairness, Bill Belichick has done everything, maybe not necessarily the right way outside of the Patriots, but has done the right thing since being with New England. And when I say that, he had the co-sign of Robert Kraft. Robert Kraft believed in him and his ability to get, guys that were basically the unknowns, the non-participants, the ones you said it very well, the ones at the tail end of the roster involved. And that's one of the reasons why he is who he is. And that's why they're able to win 6 Super Bowls. And of course, you can throw out all the asterisks you want about Deflategate and, every gate you can think of, wood or
Spy
metal, and Spice Gate or Taylor Swift Gate. I mean, whatever you want to call it. I think this is really about Bill Belichick losing his touch, losing the Midas touch that he had for so long, for so many years, going through so many different players in basically the same system. The kind of protection that you've seen from Tom Brady in the heydays of who Tom Brady was, even before coming into the New England Patriots system, and then ultimately replacing Drew Bledsoe after he went down after injury. History was written at that point and well documented thereafter. The problem that I have with this is that Bill Belichick is a guy of very few words and plays on basically nothing and doesn't really have any type of relationship with media whatsoever, because that's not what he believes in. His beliefs are that he's going to do it his way. And Robert Kraft has signed on to that for many, many years. And that's why they have as many Super Bowls as they have had under Bill Belichick. Now, could he have done that without Tom Brady? Maybe.
I don't
There's
think
no
so.
determination.
No, I mean, I don't. I mean, it's what
he could have done it.
But let me give you another one. When you say did he lose his Midas touch? Look at in San Antonio, did Greg Poppovich lose his Midas touch? No. Tim Duncan retired. Tony Parker retired. Manu Ginobili retired. Kawhi Leonard had a falling out with the organization. You take players away. Greg Poppovich is a great coach. There's no two ways about it. And now with Wemby, they just broke a 18-game losing streak or whatever it was. They just broke
the Los Angeles Lakers. That's correct.
Okay,
That's
right.
Exactly
so I'm just saying, did Greg Poppovich lose his Midas touch? No, he lost talent.
He lost talent. Now you can lose talent in a guy like Tom Brady, but still have the protection. You look at the two main contenders, and of course this is probably overused and overstated, but you have a Super Bowl possible preview between the Baltimore Ravens and the San Francisco 49ers on Christmas Eve. And the conversation is there, who gives the best protection? It's the offensive line. If Tom Brady wasn't the quarterback for the New England Patriots, the offensive line would have been just as equally as good for maybe a subpar quarterback. I mean, heck, you could probably throw, and I'm probably going to shoot myself when I say this, but you could probably put Bernie Kosar behind that line, and he could have done absolute magic. You could put any subpar quarterback behind the kind of talent that was there to block Tom Brady and still make those Super Bowls. Maybe not as many, perhaps, but still Super Bowls along the way. So is Bill Belichick the architect? Maybe co-owner, co-architect in regards to the building of this team, but hats off to a Robert Kraft who's had his own hodgepodge of issues along the way, but nevertheless been able to pull in that kind of talent. And I think that because of this losing record, not just 1 year in a row, not just 2 years in a row, but 3 years in a row, they haven't been in contention of the AFC East, where they have dominated for so many years under Bill Belichick and Tom Brady. This isn't just about Belichick. Right. This is not just about Tom Brady.
The other reason I believe that Belichick takes heat is because Brady left in his first year in Tampa. He won a Super Bowl, and he went and he did it without Bill Belichick. And Belichick has not won a Super Bowl as a head coach without Tom Brady. So those are facts. They're undeniable. And maybe, here's the thing. First of all, Belichick gets $20 million a year. He's the highest paid coach, so don't feel that bad for him. But, I mean, if you ever read the book Freakonomics, and I'm going off on a little tangent here, but they talk about what determines a salary. And it's how replaceable a part are you. Okay? And one of the problems people have now, Belichick's an exception to the rule because he makes so much money. But usually in professional sports, the coach is not paid as much, especially the star player. But compared to most players, with the way salaries have gotten, and you can get more people to coach a team than you can get Victor Wembanyama's or Lawrence Taylor's. They don't grow on trees. There aren't, or if you want to go to baseball, there aren't that many 6'7" pitchers walking around that can throw 95 miles per hour into a small box. There just aren't that many human beings. So these people get millions of dollars because it doesn't matter how great a personality they have or how well moral they are. No, they can deliver results on the field, and they're, quote, irreplaceable. So a coach is more replaceable usually than a player is. There are exceptions. Like I said, and Belichick might be that exception. But when you lose a Tom Brady, who he was just phenomenal outside of 2008. The guy, I mean, never got injured. He besides the Matt Castle year, I mean, nobody's going to break his records because nobody's going to play that long and nobody's going to stay healthy that long and whatnot. But I mean, he did it. So probably it's more Brady than Belichick, but I feel like this is just like the media swooping in now. Now it's time to go get Bill Belichick. Here he is. Has a losing record now for 3 years. You think he can't evaluate talent? You think it's that simple? Like before he could evaluate talent and now he's lost that touch? No, probably he's come back to earth a little bit because he's been so good at it. So you're when you're evaluating talent, you're predicting the future. You're drafting guys saying you're going to play with. It's a very hard game. It's a very hard game. Look at all these busts. Look at Zach Wilson or whatever. He was a top 3 draft pick. He's played better 2 weeks ago, but look who's the quarterback of the San Francisco 49ers, not Trey Lance, Brock Purdy, who is Mr. Irrelevant. What happened to all the geniuses? What happened to the geniuses with Tom Brady? Brady was what, a 6th round pick or whatever. Everyone's like, oh, the Patriots are such, they still passed on him for 5 rounds. Yeah. Nobody picked him in the first round. So everybody I'm just saying some of this stuff is luck, happenstance. Like, you think the 49ers knew that they were getting such a quality player in Brock Purdy? He almost didn't get drafted.
That's why they call him Mr. Irrelevant, because by that point in any given NFL draft, he's a guy who ultimately doesn't count for anything. And he feels that sitting around on his couch at home, waiting to get the call from somebody. And the entire draft goes by, except for that very last pick. And sure enough, here he is now an MVP candidate for the regular season.
Oh, absolutely. MVP. An MVP. He's great. He's great.
Fabulous. But don't forget, he has protection. Some of the best protection. Lamar Jackson, some of the best protection. 2 completely different quarterbacks, but one thing in common, protection. Why? Because as you stated, Bill Belichick has been giving not only the organization the frilly, chilly years of win, and win. Now it's a question of when. They're 3-11. What do you do? When is it time? When will it be time? When will time ever stop?
When they want to part ways.
Belichick to draft the kind of talent that he needs to get back on top. And it's not going to happen anytime soon. This is a year of the backup quarterback. It is. It just is. Jalen Hurts befuddled yesterday against an otherwise over 1,400 days since Drew Lock led a comeback in any given NFL game. And he's only put 3 of those together. And Hurts lost to a Drew Lock, who's traded over.
Here's my point, though, Rude Dog. My point is, I don't think it's all one way or the other. I don't think Bill Belichick has lost his touch. I think sports are cyclical. I don't think Greg Poppovich has lost his touch. I think he's the same great coach that was coaching David Robinson, like I said, to championships and giving him his first championship, and Tim Duncan, and he's smart. And it just sports are cyclical, and the Patriots put together an unprecedented 20-year run, unprecedented in the NFL. So you're going to go in and pounce on Bill Belichick? I'm willing to even concede it's more Brady than Belichick. I'm willing to concede that, but I just think it's kind of unfair. So, if you don't want to pay him anymore and he wants to go somewhere else and, maybe try it, but
I expect he will.
I don't think he has to. I think if people want to force him, I don't think, if he wants to, Poppovich wrote it out in San Antonio. How many years has it been since they've made the playoffs? It's been 4 or 5.
But he has the backing of ownership. And Robert Kraft, at this point in his tenure as being the owner of the New England Patriots, who is not the original owner of the New England Patriots, says, well, something's got to change. We want to get back to the heyday. And right now, the heyday is not with Bill Belichick, because had Tom Brady not left, we wouldn't be having this conversation. Talent takes time to matriculate through any given system.
Right. And I don't know, fine, if you don't want to spend that money on Bill Belichick anymore, and if he's lost,
I don't think it's about money. It had nothing to do with money. It's nothing to do with
Well, then if he's
not,
lost, if
not
he's
as well.
just, I understand the optics of I don't want a rebuild job with a championship coach, but you, like you said, Popovich has been doing one and he's still doing one, even with Wembanyama.
He's still doing it because the ownership has his back. That could be the very key.
But you really don't think
what
that
Robert Kraft is
how could
dealing
Robert
with
Kraft not
Belichick.
have his back? And I don't, do you really believe too that I don't look, I don't know what Tom Brady feels in his moments, but I'm not
Tom
sure.
Brady's too busy commenting on hits and other things in the NFL. He has nothing to say about this.
I don't know if he hates Bill Belichick. I haven't, like, I don't like, I think that when
there was no true hate between Terry Bradshaw and the great Chuck Noll. They just had a misunderstanding that went on for years.
But this is Brady is retired now. He's been gone for several years. So it's, do you want to continue on? I think a lot of it has to do with what Bill Belichick wants to do. Or maybe it doesn't. Maybe it's Robert Kraft. But if Bill Belichick says, I can see if Bill Belichick says, hey, I got another year or two, and then I'm not sure what I want to do, then maybe I can see Robert Kraft, and this has nothing to do with Tom Brady, pivoting and saying, I would like to bring somebody here who's going to be here for the build. But if that build doesn't go well in 2 or 3 years in the NFL, I'm just saying sometimes you don't know what you got till it's gone, if I can quote a song. But I'm just saying
11 and 3 and what was it, 4 and 12. I mean, look, you have to draw the line in the sand somewhere. And I think right now Robert Kraft is going to have to draw that line. Now, Belichick could stay for another year. There are other teams that could use a guy like Bill Belichick in.
Well, he's rumored. He's where's he? He's rumored. I'm blanking.
He's rumored to go anywhere for a team that has a horrible and losing record. I mean,
I am.
The list is exponential.
Well, he could go wherever he wants if he
could just be a D coordinator, not a head coach.
What?
He's
not going to go back to be a defensive coordinator
if he doesn't want to coach the team.
No, he's not going back.
Where else is he going to go?
Well, you think
New York Jets?
No. No, but name some teams before we get out of here.
He can go to Washington.
Yes, I've heard him rumored to be the
Commanders. I think
Commander's
that's a
head
number one
coach
spot for him if he was to go somewhere. But we can speculate all day long what teams and when and how and why and what decisions made. We're going to off season, and that's
what's Antonio Pierce's deal? He's temp in Vegas.
He is a temp, and they could very well use a guy like Bill Belichick who can design some nasty defense.
So there you go. Those are two
nasty with Max Crosby. Oh, yeah. Goodness. The plot thickens. That's all I got to say. Let's move on. Draymond Green.
Oh, you're just switching here. You want to move. Okay, let's go switch gears.
I'm shifting and moving and shaking and baking.
Go ahead.
Because here we have Draymond Green in the NBA, ladies and gentlemen, and the situation that has been presented
indefinitely
for everyone. If you didn't know, or if you've been under a rock or maybe a rock pile, that he has been suspended indefinitely and has been receiving counseling for aforementioned issues that we may uncover at some point or will be uncovered to the general populace, at least those in the sports that really care. Now, let's put this in contrast. He's getting paid almost $23 million this term, right? His salary will reach almost $178 million by the end of this season. Now, it's not going to the Golden State Warriors, but buy into this. He clearly is. He's paid and will be paying $2.2 million because of fines. That hit to Nurkic was the camel that broke the back off the person holding it. And it was Nurkic on the opposite end of that spectrum. I will pose this. Does Draymond Green come back to the NBA? Does he have the ability, the mental fortitude to not find himself in the very same situation for which he has been indefinitely suspended for and go?
Yes, he'll come back to the NBA. The reason, even though Barkley said he doesn't understand what indefinitely is basically they're saying you got to go get help. And once you get help to a point, then that to me means you can come back. They didn't want to, I heard them discuss, they don't want to put a number on it because they don't feel like a number sums up what his help is, whether it's 7 games or 17 games. He also served a 5-game suspension already this season. I do think he comes back to the NBA. I think that 100% it was a dirty play. I think he did intend to, like, it's disturbing to watch him do that. I think he's going to go to Springfield. He's going to be a Hall of Famer. I think it's just a matter. He's going to go down. Like, I don't think Rasheed Wallace is in the Hall of Fame. Dennis Rodman is in the Hall of Fame. Rasheed, I think he should be, but he got all those technical fouls, if you remember, and he just had a problem, and he did win a title with the Detroit Pistons. Now that I think about it, he lost with the Blazers when the Lakers came back with that. They blew that 15-point lead, the Shaq to Kobe, Bob Costas dunk, which was that unbelievable comeback, the Lakers' first championship. But I think he'll get through it. I don't know what to make. I don't know what to make of it as far as what his problem is, what he's so angry about. It probably does appear to be like he needs therapy. And if he's going to act like this, then he may be out of the NBA. But I have a feeling this will resolve itself. I don't know how many more years he'll play in the NBA, but he's certainly towards the end of his career. And I think he'll have this as part of his legacy. That's my takeaway on him.
I'm going to have to agree with you there. Now look, he's done some great defensive plays. He has been a part of some of the best of the Golden State Warriors, being a key role player in 2015, 2017, 2018, 2022.
2016, he got suspended and they won them. They set the NBA record, and then the Cavs came back from 3-1 down. Yep. Many people think if he never gets that suspension, that
it could have been over.
That they win that series. But I don't know. I don't have any grand takeaways, but I think where people are with him is the right place, because it's like, dude, what the F are you doing, man? Like what are you doing hitting him like that? Like Nurkic was like that afterwards. He's like that didn't call for that, and it was 100% intentional, and he knew what he was doing.
Like he was Zangief at a Street Fighter. I mean, there was like a wind up, and that was it. We've seen this. No one's a stranger to this. This isn't all of a sudden here goes Draymond Green. He wasn't like this in high school. He didn't play like this at Michigan.
Michigan State.
Yeah. And not a guy that you would peg for being this hothead, over the top, sporadically violent.
But he is. So what's your takeaway?
My takeaway is this. I was crying wolf to begin with. Once I seen that, he's going to be suspended indefinitely, and he should. Now, originally it was not an indefinite suspension, but the ruling came down from the gavel of Adam Silver, and sure enough, that's exactly what happened. Now, you don't put a number on when this guy's going to be back, because there is no number associated with how long he will be out. My takeaway is that unless you're going to solve for your own issues, and I mean this deeply and wholeheartedly as an NBA and NFL player, Major League Baseball player, and there's plenty of examples of guys getting out of control and be taking it out on their wives and taking it out on unsuspecting people. This just happens to be in front of a very partial crowd in Phoenix, clearly because the Suns are there. Look, if he does not get the help that he needs, I believe, and I say this with complete anonymity, that if he was to end up getting back on the court and doing the very same thing for which he's now currently indefinitely suspended for, he will be shut out of the league permanently. and his ability to get into the Hall of Fame will be tarnished because of his on-field
Possibly.
antics or on-court antics.
Possibly.
That's my takeaway.
All right. Well, for Rudy Rude Dog Reyes, I am Emac Evan Makovsky. Thank you for listening to the Issues of Sports. And what issues tonight? Little Draymond dessert. That's right, Bill Belichick, main course. And we will see you on the next episode.
Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Have a great holiday season.
Yes, good stuff, Rudy.